So for today's field trips, we're out in Oakdale, California at the Valk Ranch. We're gonna learn about chickens, almonds, and we're gonna have a great bloopers reel at the end of this video, so make sure you stick all the way through it. Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Tara, a farmer from Northern California, and this channel is mainly about farming, but sometimes it's not. And today, we are going on a field trip.
Yeah, we'll just go ahead and head into we placed these barns just yesterday. So these birds were hatched yesterday morning, and so they are a day old now, and we just placed them yesterday. So we have, each house holds about 30,000 birds, 30,000 chickens, and so we're about to see 30,000 chickens. And that tractor they bought brand new, they still use it, but that tractor is primarily used for disinfecting the barns. So that's a big thing that we do after each flock, is we want to make sure that we clean the barns as much as possible. And so we'll go through with that sprayer with a friendly chemical. You know, it's an organic chemical. Cleaner. Organic approved cleaner. Thank you. That sounds better. It's an organically approved cleaner that we'll go through and we'll spray the barns down with. And so then we'll go through and make sure everything is nice and disinfected for the next flock that's going to be coming in.
Each one of these hold about 14 tons of feed. And when they're fully grown, sometimes you almost have to have both of them completely full just to make it through the weekend.
Wow, the weekend?
Yeah, yeah, because towards the end, sometimes we'll be going between 60 and 70 tons of feed a day out here. So they a lot, and they all go through that little tube.
Yeah,
they're hungry little buggers.
This is like my dream. 30,000 chickens. Wonder if AJ just would let me have one of these barns. Oh, do I need to put on my gear? So this is biosecurity, right? That's what you call this?
This is biosecurity at its finest. So.
But you don't have to dress up.
No, because I'm out here always. So these are our barns. We're out here, and we don't have pet chickens, or not necessarily pet chickens, but like we don't have our own like egg chickens and things like that. So because we're out here always, this is our place. We don't have to worry about that.
Okay, I don't want to step on you. Oh, it's so warm in here. Wow. They're all chirping and happy. What's on the ground here?
These are rice hulls.
Rice hulls, okay.
Yeah. And we put this paper down underneath it. These are drinker lines here, the nipple drinkers. And what that does when they walk on it, it kind of makes a sound. And then it attracts the other birds to the water.
So they learn really quickly.
So they learn real quick. Then these red things are feed trays. And we just put the feed in that. And when they empty it, we take them out. And then they just, then the feed comes into the tanks, through this, down into here, and it'll go to these feed pans here. But then, when they're about 7 days old, we'll just flip these up. And then when they're empty, we take them out.
Oh, so then when they get older, they just have the round ones.
They just have the round
So
feeders.
Right now you have more because they're so little.
Yeah, just put them everywhere so that wherever they're at, they'll find the feed.
So what temperature do you keep it at in here right now?
We like to start them out at around 90 degrees.
90 degrees.
Yeah.
And then as they get older, it goes down a little bit?
It ramps down to about 70 or 65 to 70. And then we have all these stoves all the way down. And that's what provides the heat. And then these buildings are 500 feet long, and at 250 feet we have just a black piece of plastic. And that at 10 days or thereabouts, we raise that up and they have the full house.
Okay, so right now they've only got about half.
Yeah, because easier to they don't need any more space than this, and it keeps them warmer.
Yeah, keeps them warm.
And so when these goes down lower, this will raise up and it'll
automatically.
Yeah, it'll turn that on. And then at the very end, there's a feed pan that when that one goes empty, that trips it and it'll turn feed, and it'll just slowly fill them as it goes all along.
Wow.
This is what controls everything. It controls the water, the feed, the number of fans, curtains going up and down, humidity, the heaters, and it automatically ramps up the temperature or ramps down the temperature as they get older, and does everything with this. And if there's any kind of, even if you were to do that, you'll see it'll say switch has changed. Did you mean to do that? And if I don't hit enter there, or whatever, it'll alarm me.
Okay, so
like somebody flipped a switch. Did you mean to do that?
Right.
Or was that accidental? And so
pretty smart.
Sometimes
so it'll actually call. And so each barn has its own computer. There's a central computer that if, say, this barn, that switch was changed, that alert, it calls him.
Yeah. And unfortunately, it's all through the night.
It's like right now, if you look at this, you can see it looks like they're all just kind of bunched up at the front right here. A lot of that is they're wanting to stay warm. They kind of all like to kind of bunch up together. And then also, like what Dad was saying, is they're getting attracted by that sound to that water. But as you can see throughout the rest of the barn, there is a lot of space for them right now. And then like what Dad was saying, as they get older, they're obviously going to get bigger. Once they start to get bigger like that, then we'll open up that whole second half of the barn. They'll have a lot more space to roam.
Oh my gosh. They're so cute. This is fun. Okay, I'm gonna go to where it's light right there, and you can see really good how open it is. So we were just standing up there where there's a big group of them, and then you can see how they're much more spread out over here. So just over time, do they slowly start figuring out like they can expand a little bit more?
Yeah, and I feel like they always do kind of like to stay up front. They kind of like to crowd up there, and so we try and kind of help them kind of come back here as much as we can.
Right.
But yeah, no, they'll eventually get to the point where they'll spread out and kind of do their own thing.
Yeah.
So we also have these things that we like to add in the barns. It gives the chickens like areas too. So like we have these pallets here that they can roost on. And so they can come up here and you'll see them a lot as they get older. They'll obviously be able to climb up these a lot better. But we have pallets. I think we have 9 pallets per barn that we can just spread out through the entire barn. So we do that. We have these little containers here that they can just, I don't know, for fun, play in.
Their playground.
And then we haven't lowered them down yet. As they get older, we'll lower down. We have some buckets that we'll put some straw in. It just kind of gives them something to peck at. So.
Okay. Do you guys let them have any outdoor time?
Yes, we do. So if we come down here, the barns we have these little doors that are set up on a winch system, and so we can open those up, and they do have access to the outside. We've got fenced off areas so that they can go outside. Right now, because it's so cold and they're so little like this, they're brooding right now, we need them to be able to stay warm. Mm-hmm. And so we are going to keep them in here because we're going to keep this barn as warm as possible, keep them comfortable. In the spring and then in the summer, when it's easier for them to be outside as they get older, we'll be able to move them outside. It's funny though, is because we'll open these up and they'll be open all day long, and you'll come out here, and even though there's close to 30,000 chickens in this barn, you'll see maybe 100 out there. They kind of like to stay in here where they're protected from predators. They've got all their food and their water. They kind of they're herd animals. They like to kind of stick together. So
yeah. We've got this one here that's adventurous.
Yeah, he's adventurous. He's not the herd type. You know what?
So we've got a little guy here.
So this guy.
Are they male and female?
Yes. Yep.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Okay.
And
no good. Do you feel safe? Yep. Looks happy.
And that's for us. That's definitely one of those things. I think sometimes people kind of get the wrong notion when they see large scale poultry operations like this, where it's just all about the money. It's all about turning them out as fast as we can and things like that. But for us, one of those big things is we do want to be good stewards of the land. We want to be good stewards of the animals. And so we aren't here to harm them. We aren't here to make things tough on them. We're trying to make things as good for them as possible here. And we want them to be in a really good environment. So
yes, they look happy to me. Is there anything you wish people knew about raising chickens?
It's hard work.
It's hard work.
Yeah.
It's not easy.
No.
And like you said, it's 24/7.
It's 24/7.
So this is Ryan's beautiful wife, my redheaded twin. Shalyn, baby.
This is Reagan.
How's farm life, Shalyn?
Oh, you know, I'm a crazy farmer. I'm outside all day farming.
Yeah, she
I strap the kids to me, one on the front, one on the back.
like she
And
just
You
shovels
say
all
that
day.
I shovel all day.
You say this jokingly, but this will be my wife one day. Like that is.
It's just shoveling and
you know,
sometimes she has like a pitchfork, you know, and she does something with that. I don't know.
Are those your work boots?
yeah, this is my work outfit actually.
Hey, Skyler.
Yeah.
It's called fashion.
So if you're wanting to know what our cover crop consists of, we've got canola, mustard, radish, peas, triticale, and bell beans.
You want radish?
I like bell beans. I don't know what they are, but I like them.
How's it going?
Pretty good, how are you?
Good. You have a YouTube channel too, right?
I do.
What is it? Ginger Auto.
Ginger Auto.
Oh, look at me knowing things.
Yeah.
So did you get sucked into farming? You never wanted to be a farmer.
Actually,
Are you a farmer?
That's all he wanted to be.
always wanted to be a
Deep
farmer.
down, I've always
So did
wanted
you
to be a
plan
farmer.
this? You're like, I must find a wife that
I
comes
found a
from
farm
farm.
wife.
But you didn't know you were going to be stuck with Ryan forever.
Yeah, that wasn't a choice.
That was not part of the plan.
Hey, he found his wife because of me.
That's right.
I've got a question for you. Why
Ask away, Ryan.
is this compartment bigger? Why is this one a little smaller? And why is that one really small? It makes no sense. I have to stop and fill them up more, and that one's still full.
Oh, and they don't have holes in between?
No.
What the
Oh,
heck?
mine have holes in between so you can like push the seed.
Like I said, we like to work harder.
Yours is officially crappier than mine was.
Yes.
That's the nine.
Finally some girl time.
Yes.
Even got our little farm dog here.
And it's a she, so.
So Ryan is gonna plant his cover crop. We're going to, yeah, you wanna get up ahead of him? I got a lot of questions about this.
So I have a YouTube channel, so California Farmer. So if you look up California Farmer, I'll pop up. And
He
so yeah,
farms all of California.
all of it. So I am the California Farmer. No, not at all. I got a comment about that on Instagram, and it really bugged me because they thought I was claiming that I was like the California
He's
farmer.
the one and only.
I said I should have put a California farmer, one of them.
It's not too late.
I know it's not too late. I could change it.
But
So yeah,
yeah,
you can find me on Instagram as well at California Farmer, and on Facebook. I don't really post much on there, but
But YouTube's the number one.
YouTube.
Yeah.
where
So
to
check
go.
out California Farmer. I'll put a link in the description. But this is us trying to figure out how to record a video together. Okay, so we are out in your almond orchard.
We're in the almond orchard.
The almond.
The almond orchard. So
Is that a regional thing, or is that like just literally every person you talk to is different?
I think it's a regional thing, but I feel like it's more just with almond growers. Almond, did you see how I said it there?
Yeah. So you're an almond grower, and this is an almond orchard.
An almond orchard. No, so it depends. I feel like I used to say almond all the time. Growing up, it was always almond. My grandparents, that's what they said. That's what my parents said. And so I think it's kind of just the people who've been local here for a long time, who've been around them a long time.
Interesting.
If you talk to a lot of farmers, whenever I talk to a farmer about it, it's almonds. Anytime we're talking about, hey, how's your almond crop doing? You know, this and that. If I'm talking to someone, I'm better at it now. Most people just will always say almonds, but because I lived in Idaho for 6 years, I had a lot of people who are like, well, almonds, what's that?
Oh.
And so I was like, well, and so I got used to saying almond a lot.
Okay.
And so now I kind of flip back
You just
and forth.
go back and forth.
So.
Okay, hold on. Let me get a little. There we go. Okay, so how long has this guy been out here? This orchard.
This orchard was planted in 2013. So we call them, even though it's 7 years old, we go by how many leaves they've had.
Oh.
De-leafed and then got the new
Okay.
leaf. So this will be going on. This was its 7th leaf this year.
So how many years old is it?
So it's 7 years old.
7 years old.
7th leaf.
7th leaf.
Same thing.
So it's always. Do they always line up the same?
Honestly, I don't know.
Don't know. Okay. Technical question.
Technical question, not for me.
Okay, seventh leaf. Once you plant an almond orchard, how many years does it take to get your first crop?
Typically 3 years.
3 years.
So you'll see some nuts on the trees the first 2 years, but not enough to justify going out and harvesting.
Okay.
You'll start harvesting the 3rd year. And so you're not going to get really a profit, but you're at least going to bring in some income because they start producing pretty well at 3 years. Your kind of peak production, I would say, is between 7 and 15 years or so, like that. That's like your peak production.
Okay.
And then after that, it kind of starts to taper off a little bit.
Okay.
And then usually we're pulling these orchards out after about 25 years. That's kind of
25 years.
the
So even
typical
though
lifespan.
14 years starts going down, you keep it for quite a bit longer.
Yeah, because
Okay.
they're still producing well
Right.
for that amount of time.
Right.
So some orchards get pulled sooner, some later. It just kind of depends on the grower and how those trees do.
Right. Right.
So we're getting ready for winter sanitation right now, and what that means is when we harvest, we shake the trees, and when we shake them, not all of the nuts come off at that time. But we need to get all of the nuts off because they will become a home or a host to the biggest pest that we deal with, which is navel orangeworm. And so we are wanting to get rid of all of the nuts that we can off of these trees. So even though they didn't come off at harvest time, now that they've got some moisture on them and things like that, they're gonna loosen up. And so we'll be able to go through and reshake the trees. We'll bring the shakers in just like we did at harvest time. They'll come in and shake the trees and get all of those mummies. We call them mummies. So that's the term that we use for those leftover nuts. So we'll come through, shake them, and they'll get on the ground. We'll sweep them up and we'll mulch them up so that way that doesn't become a host to that navel orangeworm.
So they just get like mixed back into the ground?
Yeah. Basically, they'll just get mulched up. So yeah, I don't know if we can see any right
can
here.
We see any anywhere? But I guess the less you see, the better. 'Cause
Exactly.
That means you had a really good heart, like you did a good job.
Exactly. If we don't see any, that's what I love. And it's harder to see when there's still leaves on the tree. Once the leaves finally do fall off, we'll be able to see where our worst spots are. And if we can go through and we can check that, because if there's spots where I don't have to shake and don't have to do all that, I don't want to do that, obviously. So pruning is necessary the first few years, but as they get older, what the studies are showing is that it's not necessary.
Well, that's nice.
Yeah, that's
That's
nice.
a big
and
saved
I know
cost.
that there's probably going to be a lot of people who do watch this who are almond growers who will disagree with me, and that's fine. That's what's awesome
Yeah.
about
Farming.
farming is we can do our own things.
Yeah, and it's good to experiment.
Yeah.
Even if down the road you found out it didn't work, well then you prune. And if it does work, you can spread that message to other almond farmers and maybe it will help them.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
it's good to experiment things.
And that was, I think, one of the reasons why I started doing the YouTube and the Instagram and things like that, is I really wanted to show what it was like to be a California farmer. That's why, hence the name that I chose, because I think it's important to share our stories, our individual stories, and I think that's what our society really needs right now, because I think there's a lot of people who are speaking for us who aren't the best people to be speaking for us. And so who better to speak than yourself?
Yeah.
And so that's why I decided to do that. And I really wanted to showcase California agriculture, because living in Idaho for 6 years, I kind of was able to meet a lot of people and get the idea of what people, they have a very specific idea of what California is. And so I always kind of threw a wrench into their concept, because they'd always ask, what do I do? And I farm. There's farms in California? You betcha there's farms in California. So that's why I started this, and I wanted to showcase what we were doing on our place. And so we like to be different around here too. We don't want to just be, oh, that's what they do, that's what everyone does. No, I want to figure out what's going to work for us, and what the research is showing, what science is saying. So I like to just showcase what we're doing.
All right. Okay. When I was watching, I feel like the seed's kind of on top of the ground.
So a lot of it is, like, if you look at it right now, there's a lot that's still just on top of the ground. The main reason I don't want to do a tillage is because when we harvest, we have to have our orchard floors completely flat and smooth. And every time you kind of disc it up or you till it and things like that, it becomes uneven.
Yeah, that's true.
And so we try and do the minimal tilling amount as possible out here. And for that main reason, that we just want to have these flat, nice orchard floors so that she can play.
Yeah, without tripping and falling.
Exactly. But mainly for harvest, so that it's a clean harvest like that.
So is the goal that the rain will just still get this rooted?
Yeah, and there's still, so this is kind of obviously a bad spot for that. There's still a lot of the seed that's still getting into the ground.
Oh yeah, this one I can see it dug a little bit.
Yeah. So so it's still, there's still some spots where it's, you know, there's still
Oh yeah,
seeds
there I see it.
like that. So it's not, it's not 100% perfect. Like obviously, the center part right here, it's harder because the sprinkler system, when we run during the summer, the sprinklers don't reach this middle strip right here. So this one is always going to be like a lot harder than the rest of this area. So they're kind of just going to drag across the top, and yeah, we're kind of just, for us, the seed was really discounted for us. And so yeah, if I was having to pay for this seed and I was really wanting to make sure it just gets every seed in there, I would have tilled and I would have done something like that. But the fact that we were able to get a really, really good deal on this seed, and that's what that program helps you out with. It helps give you that seed for a cheaper price. And so I didn't want to mess with our orchard floors for that. So I'm just hoping that this is going to take, and it's still getting still a decent amount of it is getting covered and put in there. But yeah, some of it's going to
Another experiment.
Another experiment.
Okay, we've got Mom here with the baby monitor. Yep. Such an awesome day at the Valk Ranch. I love the whole Valk family. I've actually gotten to be friends with them. It's been over a year now. We met through social media, and it's been so great connecting with them. And I loved touring their farm, even though I'd been here before. I never got the full-on tour. I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. Remember to go check out Ryan's channel if you want to learn more about almonds. He is great. All right, I'll catch you guys on the next trip.
Well, welcome to another episode. We're out here at the Valk Ranch in Oakdale, California. Isn't it a beautiful place out here? Wow.
It's just like, that's definitely gonna go.
So what you have here, this is a tree. So if you look at it, you can tell that it's a tree because it's got the trunk and branches, and there's some leaves. So it's a tree.
So they got a lot of activities.
Got some activities. You know, we like to provide some really fun playtime, and we just like to make it as comfortable as possible in here for them. We just want to get some reviews back from them, but you know, we like to invest in high quality stuff around here. So we got this stick that we put right here. We're really about technology, innovation. That's what that is.
Do you need an assistant?
Reagan, do you need to come help?
You want to help your dad?
Come here. Show
like,
them.
no.
Can you show Nemo? Show Nemo.
What have you got there? Is that a fishy?
Who is that? Who is this?
Thought she wasn't gonna be camera shy. I thought she was gonna be prepared for this.
Nemo?
She's not prepared.
Nemo? Okay.
That's right. Oh wow, you use a fancy knife? I actually ripped the ends off.
Do
Like you're supposed
how you're supposed to do it. Like I said, we like to do things different around here, even if that means doing it harder.
I think like this is fine.
Do you want to be? We could actually even go on the outside of the be on the outside and looking into the orchard.
This is two YouTubers trying
to
figure out how to record a video.
If we dial it in just right, if we get the sun right there, it's going to be perfect.
Sustainability. It's who we are and what we do. We're in it for the good of farmers. We're increasing the livelihoods and sustainable practices of 500 million smallholder farmers. We're in it for good.